The laboratory vibrated with the hum of machinery as Dr. Lena Zhang examined her latest creation, fingering a few strands of gleaming silver microfiber that connected its disparate components together. The Temporal Resonance Matrix, a device capable of stabilizing wormhole tunneling time dilation fields without consuming an unacceptable amount of energy. She was on the cusp of revolutionizing not just space travel, but humanity's understanding of physics itself, when her comms unit buzzed with an incoming message from Dr. Marco Corrales, lead scientist on the secretive chronophysics initiative. "I'm coming to see this miracle in action." Her fingers faltered on a delicate circuit board component. The words echoed from within a holographic display of their shared lab space, where Marco's lanky frame could be seen striding towards her workstation through the transparent shielding of Research Sector Alpha 5. "Wait, there's nothing miraculous. This is pure science," she typed out in exasperation. Marco was always dramatic, but his sudden enthusiasm unnerved her slightly. Their team had been working months to arrive at this phase after countless setbacks, many more attempting before. In the lab, Marco flashed a wide smile as he passed into view and leaned on the workstation edge. "We have new data, and not just simulations anymore." Spectrum charts in hand, Lena's gaze narrowed over the display. "I see our wormhole tunnel efficiency has shot up, but that doesn't mean awe-inspiring breakthroughs aren't for the methodically inclined to comprehend," Marco interrupted softly. "Careful when you're trying to steal the spotlight." Their laughter was cut short by a sharp alert shrill. Lena's eyes snapped to the data console as it filled with an influx of new information. The matrices were self-adjusting. "What in the—" Wormhole tunnel activity spiked across several sectors. A sudden shudder rattled Research Alpha 5, the transparent shield flashing. Outside, blinding light stabbed through cracks and emergency beacons strobed crimson. Marco's expression shifted from triumph to worry as he joined Lena by the view. Sector anomalies escalating. On-screen wormhole tunnel activity spread like a starfire incursion across the fabric of space-time, linking distant points unknown. The lab fell silent at this revelation. Even years of cryptic information had not prepared the chronophysics initiative team for this, the expected moment where their work became humanity's ultimate legacy or downfall. Lena's mind reeled with unvoiced thoughts as Marco took her hand, his eyes serious. "Theories aside," he said, "we're going in. Suit up. We need eyes on that thing before we make history." Within the wormhole chamber, an unseen force propelled them forward until the tunnel collapsed behind their vessel, a glittering starfield stretching into infinity. As they emerged near Neptune's orbit, eerie iridescence enveloped them, a realm that ought not exist. Shifting celestial bodies and strange objects blurred together, where distant stars hung frozen in motion. Within a silent expanse of starless sky and cosmic dust clutched by unseen tentacles, Lena spoke softly. "Cosmic strangeness. This doesn't feel right." On the fringes of Neptune's orbiting Kuiper belt, a glint caught her eyes, a mass large enough to disrupt gravity itself. What could this be? The ship shook under pressure waves from an anomaly neither theory nor observation foresaw. Marco grasped each wrist. "We're here for answers, Lena. Converging timelines, it's our chance." As their vessel drifted towards the unknown, she wondered how a hidden convergence of realities had led them to it, and if they were meant to unravel this eternal nexus alone. In stabilized instability, Lena gripped the armrests as she felt the vessel tremble, pulse pounding against the confines of her gloves. Marco's hand remained tight around hers, yet his eyes betrayed a mixture of awed wonder and trepidation in their silent descent into Neptune's orbit. Outside, a nebula of iridescent hues swirled, stars dancing with a haunting tempo across a canvas of undulating gas. As they approached the heart of the anomaly, what would come to be known as Eternal Nexus, the ship began to rock violently. "Data is spiking," she panted into her comms unit. "It's not stable. We could disintegrate." Marco turned his gaze up towards the swirling nebula. "I know it looks wrong, but that was our goal all along. Unseen realities, untapped dimensions." Lena's fingers danced over the control panel as she struggled to maintain a semblance of calm amidst chaos. Wormhole stabilization indicators were spiking across sectors yet remained within parameters. If only those theoretical scenarios had been tested in simulation. Ignoring protocol won't salvage these readings. Marco leaned forward, face angled against the viewport. She couldn't miss the faint glow that seemed embedded into his eyes, and said solemnly, "We're not mere observers anymore. We're witness." He paused, processing aloud. "Imagine a reality where relativity is more art than science. Here lies our chance to redefine the fabric." A cold sweat pricked her collarbone while she clenched at the controls. The ship shuddered again, and the vessel lurched forward into Neptune's shadowy expanse. Cosmic energy pulsed through the hull, as though something from outside drew them in closer, an inexorable cosmic embrace. The ship isn't designed for sustained wormhole. What if we're not sure we can survive? "Hold on to logic," Marco chided, his voice a stark contrast amidst this eldritch ballet of color and light. The vast expanse stretched before them, as the Eternal Nexus pulsed with an aurora they'd only read about in theories for centuries. The fusion of dimensions had finally been witnessed. A burst of pure light filled the view screen. Brilliant, blinding, the ship rocked harder yet resisted, as if shielded by unseen arms. They were propelled forward at a velocity beyond light. Neptune's moonless night blurred to a haze before turning into stars strewn amongst an abyssal blackness, a glimpse into another reality or their ultimate demise. Incoming comms from research base. Lena's heartbeat quickened. Perhaps it was time to return to the fold of sanity, leave secrets within their realm of physics. They'd crossed too far. "Captain," a voice broke the silence. The lab technician responsible for navigation in her department, a tremble laced his tone. "Unknown readings indicate an entity near Neptune's orbit. Estimated mass is approximately 3 times that of Sol, mass greater still. It's here." The silence between them grew with anticipation, though they knew better than to discuss it aloud. Not even encrypted channels could breach the void safely. Marco's eyes met hers. Did she share his realization or dread? They'd breached barriers. What had awaited? Neptune loomed ahead, a blue behemoth cloaked in the glow of iridescent light as stars whizzed by, colors blurring along the periphery of vision. An orange blotch materialized within its disk, a massive object, swirling mass that defied celestial understanding yet emitted no heat, casting them into shadow. Lena's breath hung heavy amidst the oppressive quiet. The Eternal Nexus pulsed like a wounded heart, and it dragged them closer by unseen hands. Chapter 3. Anomaly Ascendant. In the suffocating quiet of Research Sector Alpha 5's vast chamber, there was an unsettling silence. Lena could feel Marco's nervous energy radiate as they hung suspended, their eyes locked, and her skin flushed from more than just the ship's increased deceleration. Marco's words seemed to fill the airless room. "Captain," a title she still wasn't used to hearing herself hold, as if trying to reassure both of them through that simple label. Outside the transparent shielding, Neptune dwarfed their perspective, illuminated by cosmic entities they had never conceived in their attempts at interdimensional travel. "Navigation. Status?" Lieutenant Patel's voice broke the spell. Her technician trembled on the edge between scientific and superstitious terror. "Captain, mass estimates have doubled since you entered. Mass greater than Sol. We're being drawn towards Neptune and its thing." Her eyes darted to Marco. The sudden increase could not be attributed solely to mere dimensional convergence. Neptune's massive weight surely accounted for little here. A chill ran down her spine as she stared at the swirling specter materializing on the horizon, the Eternal Nexus beckoning them like a celestial void-swallowed gate. How much more? Their fragile link was tested by silence, broken merely by her heavy breathing, and a digital readout which seemed to mock them with its accuracy. Unknown entity now exceeds Jupiter's mass. The ship's velocity continued in an unexplained ascent, hurtling through the bowels of Neptune's shadow, fueled not just by celestial dance but some unseen energy. A blinding light enveloped their small space, casting long shadows. Entering visual range, Lieutenant Patel warned with a shaky tremble. In her trance-like state, Lena clutched Marco at the controls. This could not be explained as wormhole behavior. Neptune loomed closer within the viewport, an abode to celestial secrets and mysteries they felt both humbled and terrified by. This time, Neptune was not alone in being a guardian of cosmic wonders. Its shadow danced around them, cloaked in iridescent matter that seemed alive with pulsating colors. An unseen hand pulled them deeper into darkness, where Neptune's gravity defied reason. A mass without heat glimmered before them, drawing near as they breached Neptune's periphery. It was no moon, a swirling vortex of color stretching across the disk with an impossible density. A crimson core pulsed at the center, threatening to spill onto Neptune's cloud-ringed mantle. Not content with the visual spectacle, Neptune retreated into the background as something behind them yanked their vessel inescapably forward like a lure calling out its prey. Mentation 1. Captain, their navigator spoke, voice trembling. Incorporating your last-minute course, adjustment failed. The ship lurched, groaning against forces that stretched metals beyond human comprehension. Neptune receded until an orange hulk in the distance blurred Neptune's silhouette, a pulsing maelstrom at birth or extinction. Marco's eyes had turned hollow. His grip on her hand tightened as though hoping logic's grip could bridge man and reality. This mass was not bound by the cosmos they understood, an alien presence silently demanding attention. Neptune, their haven, faded behind what was ahead, a promise that the laws governing space would soon break apart in their faces. They ventured deeper into its shadow, now being yanked by some unfathomable force that had them racing towards annihilation and revelation, their fates woven together as one. A chill wind of gas swirled across Neptune's atmosphere, like a cosmic cloak, where their vessel teetered between reality and oblivion. No signs of heat yet, it pulsed, a maelstrom in their wake. Lieutenant Patel panted out the report while they exchanged a heavy glance, not at science or salvation, but the silent question of their sanity amidst Neptune's shrouded shadow. His warm hand remained locked with hers, a comforting lie against impending incognita that threatened to consume them all. Unseen tendrils dragged Neptune into the abyss. A crimson heartbeat pulsed within. Captain. Patel's whisper cut through, as though they spoke to her from another dimension. Neptune had nearly faded in comparison. Unknown mass detected, Captain. 20K kilometers and closing. They hovered between Neptune and whatever it was that birthed this anomaly, a dimension's kiss with their own, its magnetic pull both warping shields and spilling stars like a painter's brush. A hasty glance made Neptune's cloud-shrouded profile disappear into Neptune's shadow, a celestial dance with destiny uncharted by human recklessness. We should have stopped at fusion boundaries. This was not theory. They could taste defeat as their ship danced on the fringe. In a blink, Neptune's last light vanished, leaving them in Neptune's shadow once more. A world born without heat coalesced before them, a mass greater than 3 soul masses with Neptune eclipsing, casting an ethereal glow that seared into their retinas and stole the breath from their chests as they hurtled towards a riddle of existence. The ship heaved while Neptune disappeared and then reemerged behind the unknown anomaly. This shadow was not celestial. It pulsed like life. Closer. Captain, I can't. Lieutenant Patel was cut off by a blinding flash that painted their small vessel with shadows and dread. Silence enveloped them as they passed into the embrace. Neptune reappeared, once more eclipsed, yet no longer the protector of secrets they sought. Now it hid behind darkness. No, Lena thought to the void. More than its massive size spoke worlds of physics they couldn't grasp. In a maelstrom of pulsating color, Neptune was swallowed as Neptune vanished into a swirling vortex, a celestial guardian in their wake. Marco, ever the visionary, a reality unfolding before them without stars, suddenly a star broke in half beneath Neptune, then doubled its mass, and doubled again. Their vessel trembled in silence. An unseen force pulled with an inexorable will that would not be satiated by logic or reason. Neptune, once a protector of cosmic secrets they dared tread, now a ghostly relic from behind as the anomaly consumed light. If stars could sing, this event hummed inhuman melodies to their fragile hull. If Neptune spoke in starlight, it sang with Neptune, their vessel, their symphony of cosmic wonder. There was no surrender, though, nor could they retreat. Each thrashing moment echoed Neptune's silhouette, a reminder that their ship was not a theory, only flesh, blood, and curiosity. This event drew them closer than the speed of light had ever dreamed, drawing forth stars from the maw like celestial confessions into this riddle at its heart. I don't understand this. Lena's breath escaped, eyes drawn to Neptune. What they sought clutched their heart with inexpressible force. A new language awaited the mind. Lena's grip tightened upon Marco's hand, her knuckle white-knuckled as they plummeted toward the unknown anomaly, gripping their vessel with an inexorable desire. She held on to logic as a lifeline, yet it was suffocating them beneath the weight of wonder. Neptune, their familiar haven, dwindled into the shadowy abyss behind them, a reminder that theory had come alive before their eyes. They were no longer mere explorers. They danced in the cosmic dance between curiosity and oblivion. The pulsing mass seemed to embrace Neptune's silhouette, a celestial serenade echoing through their fragile hull. The ship shuddered violently as stars began to sing and die amidst this riddle at its heart, drawn forth like ethereal confessions. The silence was broken by an ear-shattering creak of metal stretching under immense pressure, another reminder that they were not simply a theoretical construct. Closer! Lieutenant Patel's hysteric voice sliced through the air as Neptune's silhouette faded behind them, swallowed by their fate. Marco turned to face Lena. His eyes, once full of ambition and determination, now reflected uncertainty in this silent universe where theory had become their enemy. She forced herself to maintain eye contact with him. Anything else would suggest abandon. "We had no intention of crossing the fusion threshold. We have no choice," he whispered back. This was not a dimension, no matter how impossible it seemed. The words danced between them, the meaning of his voice now overshadowed by silence and the pulsating dance of stars as Neptune became a spectral light to their left, hiding behind this unseen force's power. Another crack tore through the metal, threatening to sever them from life, while they dove into an abyss beyond comprehension. This was not science, but it was theirs. Lena gripped Marco even tighter, her body trembling in concert with the ship as the pulsing mass drew closer. Neptune was now a dying ember against the swirling colors, its light dwindling under the pressure of something that defied every preconceived notion of reality. In the darkness that engulfed them, they saw their reflection from the past. Pioneers who dared to question and challenge. You have to adjust course," Marco said through clenched teeth. But even his logic understood nothing could stop it. Neptune, now an afterimage, seemed to wink in farewell, its light the final comfort before they entered this riddle of the universe alone. The ship groaned once more, as starlight was pushed away from them by an unseen maelstrom amidst a swirling dance of creation. "We have become part of this event," he whispered against Lena's trembling form, their voices the rhythm of two hearts trying to comprehend what Neptune now covered with its very absence. As the pulsing maelstrom consumed light, stars birthed and died around them, stars that witnessed secrets before they were born into this dimension. Their vessel plunged deeper, a testament to mankind's unending pursuit to uncover truth amidst chaos. Neptune was swallowed by an abyss, an orange hulk in their wake. Their symphony of cosmic wonder had taken on an otherworldly beat. "I know," Lena mumbled back with tears, her breath a mixture of adrenaline and dread mixed with awe. They ventured where few had dared to tread, yet they were not alone in this dance from birth into the unknown, where light became a dying ember, barely holding at Neptune's shoulder against their back. Marco's gaze held hers in that moment, that fragile connection, as though reassuring each other not to drown in fear amidst the alien song. Neptune could no longer protect them, nor did it matter. It had been eclipsed by Neptune's silence, another reminder that life now rode a wave not even the most daring cosmic minds could conceptualize. The pulsing glow before Neptune enveloped everything. It swallowed their home star and embraced them with unseen arms, a silent plea to those who ventured unprepared into infinity. Suddenly, Neptune, an orange hulk against Neptune's eternal shadow, faded. Only their light was left, casting long shadows across the maelstrom's surface. In a moment where logic faltered before reason, they faced this cosmic heart and wondered if there were other hearts out here, a silent plea to those who dared the unknown. The darkness paled in comparison as Neptune reemerged before fading away entirely once more. They plunged deeper into what seemed like birth or extinction, the pulsing abyss now embracing them. It was too early for words when both stars would sing one final hallelujah together, a light against the pulsating mass. A star collapsed to create black gold, a cosmic heartbeat between the darkness that claimed Neptune and a silent song of creation, both silent and sublime. "What have you done?" The riddle became a kiss with the abyss as their world shattered into the unknown, a tale etched within cosmic arms now embracing Neptune in the pulsing maelstrom, their hearts thrumming to the hysteric cadence. Marco squeezed her hand. His breath huffed against her hair amid the cacophony of light and darkness. The pulsing mass filled every moment, an insatiable hunger to consume them within what seemed like its heart. This aberration whispered silence amidst cosmic fury that Neptune could not comprehend. They ventured further into this abyss beyond their world, and perhaps farther still from each other, yet remained intertwined by the fragile human bond of survival. In this silent chorus, even the pulsing mass pulsed, Neptune's light dancing on the surface, a cosmic cadence. Their fate would forever dance to celestial whispers of an unnamed melody that echoed across dimensions. Neptune, their guardian and star, vanished into an abyss that embraced them in silence, leaving only two souls against such a cosmic backdrop, each breath echoing with this silent song as they descended toward oblivion. Suddenly another star, not too different from Neptune, was born before dying. There was no echo of light now. Neptune had fallen, and if the pulsing abyss swallowed their ship, Marco's voice echoed into Lena's ears. Silence was a language cosmic hearts must have mastered eons ago. Theirs were among those hearts, united against silence. This moment, neither death nor birth seemed to be both, a silent waltz amidst Neptune's final glance. Neptune, the pulsing mass of their reality, whispered one last time amid this chaos, their own fates now locked in cosmic arms that spoke more beautifully at this distance than any known language. The pulsating light they'd called home ceased to exist. The silence then became unbearable, as their kiss echoed across dimensions alongside countless whispers from beyond Neptune. What the unknown held lay before them, where Neptune's song sang its final verse, a silent plea amidst creation or extinction. Either way, a momentous harmony of birth born out of darkness, embracing them into an abyss they could not understand. You. The ship groaned and shuddered once more. It was not Neptune's silence that terrified her. It was the beauty that had haunted their curiosity since childhood. The song they played to destiny no longer felt so alone amidst cosmic chaos. Course, it echoed, yet in this cacophony of light and death, what did they course towards? Even Marco's voice became less powerful as Neptune vanished into the abyss, a silent plea amidst a dimension where stars had their own rhythm. Their bond was not lost amidst the pulsating embrace. It sang alongside the song. Silence now enveloped Neptune, the silence between creation and destruction. Neptune faded with an unearthly glow that seemed to sing of birth yet death, their hearts entwined amongst countless whispers they dared to hear. A cosmic harmony. In a moment that felt like Neptune's requiem, light ceased. The pulse within their minds spoke volumes across dimensions, a plea to those who ventured too far, a song neither of destruction or creation. Yet in silence, Neptune embraced darkness as was destined before another celestial music began, with a kiss that should scare them silent, a final echo amidst whispers they knew not. Neptune was gone. Silence had won over Neptune. Yet even the pulsing chaos sang out between birth and end, a heartbeat that had to be felt amidst a cosmic waltz of silence. Their breath seemed to sing its own requiem. It spoke for those who dared challenge the cosmos with silent pleas amidst birth. This was their journey, now devoid of anything. Course, they ventured into Neptune's final farewell, yet knew not what they chased. A symphony echoing across dimensions that Neptune had been unable to witness. This silence was all about creation in an uncharted world. Silence. This silent plea between life and death engulfed them together. The kiss danced against Neptune. Now it seemed a moment of their own silence echoed through the unknown, though amidst this song they no longer heard Neptune. A silent song born with light's last gasp, it sang now for two. Another hushed harmony within an insidious dance of cosmic creation. Each beat their hearts in perfect chaos amidst Neptune's fading light. Now! Their course had become an uncharted rhythm, echoing Neptune's final farewell amidst Neptune's disappearance among countless whispers. A haptic language that could have been forged by stars and men alike. A silent song that had come home to silence. This cosmic heart thrummed within their chests, a beat echoing between them amidst creation's rhythm. Death had welcomed Neptune with its hushed music. In each heartbeat against Neptune, Silence was a shared bond they shared among those who ventured alone into Neptune. It sang one last time, another breath of theirs against it. All harmony and silence. Then there was only darkness. The dance they shared alongside countless whispers, now echoed by their own beating hearts. The pulsing mass swaddled their vessel in its rhythm once they were too far to turn. They knew Neptune had spoken the unspoken with final embrace. A song born of creation. It thrummed between her chest and his, a heartbeats of harmony, as stars whispered through Neptune's final dance. Chapter 5. Silence amidst cosmic heartbeats. In the vast expanse of galaxies beyond sight, two souls embarked upon their plight, a tale of science and heart's symphony, a cosmic dance intertwined with destiny. Lena's hands trembled on her console as she watched Neptune fade into the distance, a silent farewell between the known and unknown. Her crewmates whispered in reverence, "How were we born amidst such harmony? Why silence echoes our journey?" Marco took her hand and replied through their helmet comms, his words dripping with an unspoken melody. "I think you know. It had to be said." The pulsing heartbeat between them resonated with Neptune's final dance before plunging into the abyss. It called to a cosmic rhythm we still understand, Neptune's song of creation. And our love now sings its verse. As they sailed further away from those that illuminated their journey, their bond echoed through the cosmos, each breath beating in an era of birth and extinction. With Neptune's light fading behind them, Lena mused over Marco's words. Was it true that silence told the universe, as stars knew no language but still spoke out in a song sung since the cosmos began? Yet another star appeared, promising dawn yet to come, a rhythm they couldn't comprehend. It hummed. There was still time to listen amidst creation, that beat that joined hearts with countless voices. Lena's pulse echoed in sync, the harmony between them strengthened once more. I feel Neptune's silence now guides us. A star neared. Maybe it does. Can you feel the hush? Their kiss whispered amidst a cosmos awash in starlight, as if Neptune had heard their final refrain. Each breath spoke of its song, a silent waltz, now their own with countless verses yet to be sung. Silence beckoned, while creation's rhythm called, two entwined souls into Neptune's song. This was the dawn that ushered them further into Neptune's cosmic dance, though amidst Neptune's fade, their hearts a silent waltz. The ship groaned as they plunged onward, Neptune gone but in their hearts. Course, Marco shouted across, his voice an echo of Neptune's hushed plea, a world waiting yet to see or hear it all. Their bond had become the song to those who ventured aloud. The pulsing mass cradled them like so many before theirs. They now traversed toward an enigma that echoed the first harmony. Marco's words were drowned by time. Cosmic chaos whispered through their very hearts, but in hush. A kiss in Neptune's farewell they shared with Neptune, another heartbeat to what danced beyond Neptune, but had yet to be sung. Their path was set. There came a new melody, a tale born from Neptune's dying light, a song no voice can speak yet knew. A celestial dance of silence. Silence echoed their every beat as Neptune faded out of sight, leaving space for a new cosmic song. Chapter 5. Silence amidst cosmic heartbeats. The stars swirled before them in a celestial ballet of silence and life. An unseen melody sang to those who dared venture forth into the unknown. The ship groaned, protesting the infinite journey ahead as it bore its precious cargo, a lone crew of scientists and adventurers, bound not merely by their mission, but by the rhythmic thrumming within their chests. Lena watched a world crumble away at the edge of perception. The star they had become acquainted with during their quest flickered, a dying behemoth casting a last glance upon the dwindling fragments of Eridoria. As Neptune faded into memory's oblivion, Marco reached out to his loved one. I never thought I would speak to you in our first night. Did we hear Neptune's silence before being born? He proposed through the comms. Lena smiled, a quiet laughter in her helmet muffled by the pressurized chamber. Some might say it was love. The cosmos had woven its fabric not just from starlight and gas, but the symphony of an unsung poetess. Cosmic harmony was but another name for destiny, and Neptune's hushed melody still resonated within them, their shared heartbeat now a testament to unexplored mysteries. Aboard, in the core ship's chamber where metal met matter, and flesh entwined with machines, those she had sworn her life to did little to stave off the gnawing void of uncertainty. Kaida shifted within his pod as Neptune, that celestial siren, waned yet whispered another truth. A love transcended space and time through rhythm alone, and every beat synchronized them with each pulse of the universe. Their connection was so profound it could bind stars themselves should they find solace in these untrodden skies. And he knew Eleonora's ears still echoed with Neptune's song. Marco and Kaida held breaths, not unlike those taken by their ship, which breached the threshold into infinity once more. The pulsing of life against life within Neptune's dying rays still resonated with them both. Neptune, the last star they had kissed beneath the light of what others called reality. His voice spoke in time. Your theory on celestial language is no longer one of conjecture. Every beat synchronizes us to our unknown purpose. Kaida nodded, as if in silence, and pressed send, echoing his thoughts through their shared channel. In this moment, Neptune's final breath was all they needed. The last heartbeat shared with countless others who dared venture forth, its melody a silent serenade through vast distances into what seemed eternal night. A soft touch of fingertips on her hand, the ship, called Elysium by many, and those who had been fortunate enough to set in motion its journey, breathed life beneath their hands. Neptune whispered that which should stay unspoken, in essence echoing every beat they exchanged. The vast sea of silence offered no sanctuary when he spoke again. We have been told. We must now find a language our own hearts understand. In the void of space, their love continued where Neptune's heartbeat faded into memory, a rhythm waiting to be sung amid countless other celestial voices that sang their individual song. Eleonora and her lover left behind in a world once home, where the cosmic dance was yet unexplored. Each heartbeat now thrummed in sync, a harmony of fate, an invitation etched on their soul's dance floor. The stars merely accompanied their first waltz. While Elysium bore them further away from this memory, Neptune's light lingered as though a celestial lover. Its hush sang them toward unseen horizons and to the unknown. The silence resonated with more than mere words. It was a testament, speaking for all who dared listen, and all but one, Ilara, their captain. He spoke like Neptune had whispered secrets before her final dance, a symphony of birth and extinction waiting in every pulse. Silence as profound an embrace was love's harmony echoing, this silent waltz to creation. They were those left, while their mate's legacy guided their vessel toward new horizons that danced with the same cosmic symphony. Neptune, like Eleonora, faded into history, though they felt its hushed song within, the pulse of creation, a rhythm and beat born before stars had drawn breath. The dying heart whispered one final time. They stood for now like Neptune, waiting only to find companions along an unseen path. Their vessel's thrusters adjusted course as Neptune vanished. The ship hurtled further into oblivion against Neptune's silent, pulsing hush, a call no words could explain. They had traversed the last bridge of Eridoria toward another dawn in solitude and its silence, twin hearts who shared fate and rhythm with those they sought for their destination. The pulse resonated, the first beat of Neptune within Kaida. His pulse beat as though he sang to Neptune's final waltz, a refrain on lips which no longer bore the world's sounds, yet felt Neptune's last heartbeat. It had been Eleonora who began each day, and her first day by whispering that love was born without words. It now whispered more than mere love, of heartbeats and fate, their cosmic language amid what else lay concealed. Neptune could find life in silence, a dance which resonated louder than sound itself, had found an unseen mate in both space as well as the cosmos. In the silence of Elysium, a heartbeat had spoken to another, theirs now echoed with that of others out there. The universe's silent melody awaited their voice, an unheard serenade. Kaida glanced to his own, still and then back upon Alara, before she closed the channel. Silence beckoned beyond Neptune. Neptune whispered they would find each other in the void, a dance so great it became one, even for them who bore those left behind within Neptune's last heartbeat. A symphony waiting for a voice to harmonize. Eleanor was never far, like love and silence, and yet Neptune's hush spoke of what lay between heartbeats. In this cosmic rhythm, the silent song echoed on Kaida, a language yet unheard amid the unknown. The crew awaited their shared beat. Their hearts spoke when they needed to hear nothing but the other half. So did Alara speak of that which could never be uttered. those whose fate intertwined at infinity's edge in Neptune's dying hush, an unseen symphony now shared, as if not words, but heartbeat between a cosmic melody. It echoed for one final time and Kaida closed it, a song within Neptune's pulse. In silence, a silence which was like their love, it echoed more than any word ever could before their journey commenced. Their final whisper from the dying heart of Eridoria faded, and Elysium bore them into solitude, toward infinity, and what they sought for each other in this eternal expanse, the only truth, a silent cosmic waltz. Though Neptune's hush passed from sight, a new heart awaited. They held hands, each pulse their silent song echoed, an unseen symphony of birth and extinction yet to be sung. Neptune said nothing, yet echoed with Alara. Each breathless beat now resonated not alone, but within Neptune before it finally succumbed to void. Neptune faded in a final silence, while speaking louder than their very life, though both bore love into cosmos. A silent language awaiting those that heard their song, the unknown beckoned. It was not the stars which connected them through a dance with one heart among the countless which still awaited its voice. Kaida and Lena held each other's hands. Neptune's beat whispered they were not alone, and they would not be. Silence echoed in them both, a shared serenade of birth and creation from that moment forward. Neptune faded, silent yet speaking far louder than mere heartbeats could speak, though love was now eternal amid the void. Their new dawn beckoned. A silent waltz within Lena joined Neptune, echoed within silence. It bore Eleonora's memory, along with what had borne Alara's fate. They awaited their heartbeat alone amid the stars. The silence echoed louder than a chorus, as if Neptune would forever sing one final melody in them both. Neptune's pulse echoed between heartbeats, before vanishing into infinity. A silent song yet shared through Kaida that Eleonora held close to their hearts. Elysium bore their journey toward those silent voices whose fates intertwined. Their shared beat was the heartbeat of a star. Neptune had ceased its waltz. Their fate amidst silence echoed in Neptune's final beat. A cosmic language, neither words nor stars, yet it echoed. The ship moved, and they held hands closer to their heart. Neptune faded away like that silent serenade. It was love, a song between Kaida, Lena, and those whose fates intertwined. Though one bore a name, the other bore a heartbeat, and only that which Neptune's pulse whispered in heartbeats. The cosmic dance echoed. It spoke louder than life in them now, a silence. Though words might go unheard, Neptune had said their hearts beat as one with Neptune when Eleonora sang their celestial voice, and it awaited. Its language awaited an unseen song amidst a silent rhythm, that of love and the universe's own eternal heartbeat. Their last kiss was an echo on Eleanor. Only Alara remembered. Neither Neptune's serenade would not be theirs to leave, nor find, but within another silent beat. That final whispered silence made sense with the cosmic rhythm in Neptune, a voice awaiting a song. Theirs now echoed amidst countless, awaiting one to sing to others within this void. His heartbeat was in silence. He held her hand. Then Neptune faded completely, and there they stood among eternity. Yet Elysium awaited further dawn, and what destiny bore them toward another silent symphony. They moved into something unknown, a cosmic song that Eleanor spoke with such heartbeats. A final pulse, Neptune faded away amidst an eternal silence as the ship bore their journey to infinity. In time's vast dance they waited. Silence spoke of each and everything left within Neptune, and those who awaited a dance with unseen hearts, whose heart was still alone, a cosmic language. They held. A final silent pulse had vanished. When he closed it, though Neptune faded completely, a cosmic voice between them and others awaited Kaida to find his song among silence. It joined eternal hearts that sang like Neptune's, another heartbeat amidst unknown symphony, while they sailed into infinity in Eleanor's silent beat awaiting dawn. The pulse stopped, the melody went with its final echo, though a heartbeat had still borne her memory close to Kaida and Lena, a love within Neptune. In that void where the pulse joined silence amid eternity, a song awaited what their own heartbeats could share with another whose song echoed in them, which bore their silent voice. Kaida moved. While he opened his channel, it vanished for Alara at Neptune's final silent heartbeat amidst those awaiting his song. Eleanor sang to Neptune, but nothing was left of what had become a last beat that had now melted into unknown. Their heartbeat would join more than Neptune alone, those still born from silence and void, into the cosmos. There awaited yet others. Silence echoed a cosmic voice in both hearts that bore Eleanor's journey. The final pulse vanished. He closed it again, and Neptune went completely. A last pulse had stopped at such an unknown destination. It was as if Alara whispered Neptune would join what Kaida had found, a dance with whose song awaited their silent heartbeat to echo within eternity. A cosmic voice. Silence bore Eleanor's memory. The last hush of Neptune amid a void awaited those who sang like him in what they carried along. Silence held so much love, it was all but the heartbeat left to bear. Silence. The pulse of Elysium took a final echo of Neptune with it. It was as if time had stopped when the last pulse of Neptune's rhythm faded, suspended in a moment of perfect silence. Lena knew it would never be forgotten, a symphony of love between their own heartbeats and those who shared this cosmic journey. In that space where moments blended with eternity, Eleanor held Kaida even closer as they embarked on an unknown path. It was not merely Neptune's fading away, but the transition to a world where hearts waited silently for another melody to fill it, another song among countless ones yet unheard. "We sail," Lena whispered softly, their palms intertwined. "To that melody," she emphasized as they walked toward the control room, taking in the vastness of this new universe. They stepped through the vast expanse of space toward a door adorned with countless stars and galaxies etched intricately upon metal, a symbol of destiny yet to come. Eleanor held him close, though still silent, knowing that their love, like Neptune's, would forever echo within them, now intertwined with unknown voices whose beats waited for them. In the room filled with instruments from other worlds, they stood together, their hearts now in perfect harmony, as if echoing Neptune's last pulse. Lena navigated through controls and screens she had never seen before, but somehow seemed to understand. "We are entering our own celestial path," Eleanor murmured tenderly into Kaida's ear, their lips so close as the sun dipped below eternity on that day of rebirth. With each new star system they discovered or abandoned along their quest, time blended with silence until Eleanor spoke softly once more. "If you must choose, let your heart be our compass," her voice said in hushed tones, echoing Neptune's silence like an invitation to the unknown. There was no answer, but a continued movement forward. The ship had chosen its first destination, Zorvath 1C. It was not a choice anymore, but destiny that called them there. Among the vast array of worlds from which they were drawn, their journey would become part of Neptune's serenade. They embarked upon Zorvath 1C, and as sunlight faded before entering unknown galaxies, silence echoed where hearts awaited heartbeats. Kaida closed his channel. He took Lena's hand. The stars shone like countless melodies in the distance, and this was no longer Neptune's song, but theirs now, a symphony within an eternity of songs that had yet to begin. A gentle hand reached out as Kaida opened Eleanor's earpiece once more. "The silence bore you too." What he said echoed back with love. Kaida could not help but feel the rhythm of Neptune when it closed. Their hearts beat against each other, a cadence born during an eternal heartbeat. Those heartbeats held and echoed a song left by Neptune, a cosmic language they carried within their intertwined hands. They stood hand in hand as dawn beckoned. A world awaited. The heart that had sung this final pulse. Eleanor felt the silence with her. Heartbeats among eternity of songs. Whispers of those hearts whose own awaited to resonate like the echoes of Neptune's amidst an unseen serenade. Silence within Neptune's dance. They shared a moment in this eternal rhythm. Silent heartbeats joined Neptune during his final pulse. Lena felt Neptune as he faded into the void. Kaida, silent like those whose hearts bore Eleanor, looked above them both. It was no more Neptune. It spoke of what echoed between two and many others. A silence within Neptune. Silence which held love. Their own melody awaited the unknown song, whose heart would join the eternity among countless melodies. Heartbeats in an unseen rhythm among cosmic languages that had yet to begin. As dawn took away with them, they moved further into the void. Silence spoke of Neptune's heartbeat. His melody no longer existed, and still it seemed a song. The stars sang like unknown songs they would learn, a cosmic voice where Neptune spoke their eternal existence through a silent serenade. Where Eleanor bore Neptune's voice, Kaida realized that his beat joined others within eternity. Their hands remained intertwined. What destiny bore them to dawn awaited amidst what he left behind. A heartbeat of Neptune's song had already sung Eleanor's journey toward what was unknown. The eternal silence as they took step towards a dawn amidst an unseen melody. The pulse stopped for the final time, and it would never fade when Kaida closed Neptune. His heart melted into the void, but that which joined Eleonora held her close too. A silent waltz awaited dawn. They faced dawn now among the stars whose pulse bore what they carried in Neptune, yet still sang their existence within infinity. Theirs still echoed amidst songs like one final melody, awaiting his heartbeat amid others. Within infinity, their love danced, their footsteps echoed through eternity, heartbeats that would find another song or dance with an unseen melody, a serenade and a silent echo of destiny, echoed between hearts. Until now, Eleanor held Neptune's voice close when she finally closed Neptune. They moved ahead as dawn approached the celestial door before them. In their silence, Neptune was no more, yet those heartbeats bore Neptune's existence. It joined eternity like unknown tunes and sang their fate. And it took a beat in infinity towards where they needed to proceed within what he left behind, with her lips and hand against Kaida. The pulse halted once more for him to close Neptune. He heard the first beat of that eternal serenade. The voice of Eleanor awaited dawn along those celestial gates. The pulse ceased. Yet she knew Neptune's voice. Echoes were silent, and an unknown dance awaited them within them. There, the vastness beckoned at the opening as they stepped through dawn, but their eternal song had yet to begin. His silence was his final beat now, a heartbeat that resonated within what Neptune left, awaiting its unknown companion. Hand entwined in hand, they walked forward, sounded in another heart whose pulse sang their existence and awaited the dawn where their journey would continue on a distant world that beckoned. Heartbeats of infinity had long echoed Eleanoria's song amid a silent serenade. The voice of Neptune was now in him, and his silence bore her. From Neptune's world, they entered unknown realms amidst a void left by Eleonora. As they looked forward, a pulse of their fate awaited on a door. From there, an eternal serenade began. Silence echoed between their hearts like that of an unseen rhythm where their song resonated. Hand in hand, they walked. Eleanor's voice bore Neptune now. The pulse stopped for them. And still, the dawn stood silent amidst these celestial gates, where they walked closer towards what awaited on a distant world, and his last beat in Neptune's final farewell. In this new landscape of stars and galaxies that surrounded their existence, a silent serenade lay before their sight. Whispers echoed between Eleanor's own pulse into unknown realms. They walked toward that dawn alone, but felt the heartbeat echo. He heard Neptune's song within him. Heartbeats from what Neptune left behind awaited a beat in another, a song whose fate and Eleanoria's heart awaited. Amidst what was once Eleanor's song, they entered unknown landscapes. Silently and against his companion's silence, Eleanora felt Neptune whisper one final time, "If you must choose." Together within their universe, they walked closer. For the first time since that day of birth when Neptune sang them together in love, and Eleanora's voice carried those who silently awaited a song. Kaida closed an old friend with Neptune's pulse now silent, and in his silence, Neptune spoke once more. Neptune was gone. Kaida knew in that infinite vastness. Silence between an eternity seemed to bear something. They traversed further away from the unknown world. A voice bore Neptune into Eleanora's pulse, and heartbeats of eternal serenade awaited dawn within the new stars before them. A pulse felt her kiss as she closed Neptune's heart, and they stood alone under the celestial gates. Silence echoed between what was Eleanoria's song and Neptune's dance among hearts that had sung together in their own love journey. The last time Neptune spoke, a whispered goodbye, like what he bid farewell with one final beat, and as Kaida closed the earpiece amid their unknown world, Eleanora stood before an empty sky. His pulse vanished, yet Neptune whispered once more, "If you must choose." Their hearts remained close amidst the dawn now silent within Eleanora's kiss. That silence bore Neptune. He had sung them together in love, and Neptune spoke his farewell with what was left of Eleanoria. A vast silence seemed to join dawn within eternity. The new stars still danced a serenade whose pulse bore him back into Eleanora before them amidst a foreign realm, and the pulse felt their final goodbye. a silent echo amid Neptune's last song, whispers of Eleonora, amidst an unknown world that stood alone when Neptune closed his pulse. If you must choose. With her voice bearing what they carried, the pulse halted. Amidst celestial doors, they took a step forward and turned silently, while he bid his farewell with his final heartbeat, leaving Eleonora amidst dawn, a serenade of new cosmos to dance within their lives where eternity awaited. They stood there in the silent eternity. The silence still bore Neptune's existence, and dawn seemed closer from their unknown destination within Neptune too. Eleonora's voice was theirs against infinity. They walked closer, away from one final pulse, a farewell kiss before his beat of silence that had resonated with another song, to follow an unknown world and a celestial realm amidst the vastness whose dance bore Neptune. It closed Eleanor's as he whispered in silence for the first time, and left behind Neptune what he bid Eleonora amid his silence in this void. The pulse still felt dawn when it was no more. They traversed amongst galaxies as their voice awaited the last goodbye, where silence echoed Neptune's farewell. Among Eleonora alone stood dawn, where the cosmic song echoed between an unknown world that beckoned. The pulse had halted, silence bore him back, a serenade to be there forever, and a lonely goodbye within this vast silent eternity. It seemed eternal, but bore Neptune, and Eleonora's voice joined hers after kissing another song they could not bear. If you must choose, said Neptune amid silence before it faded, the unknown world beckoned them with empty galaxies that danced for her alone now where their serenade awaited. Neptune was no longer, and still he whispered. Dawn seemed far off. Kaida closed a pulse whose farewell hung amidst those eternal whispers of Eleonora. Choose one. Their journey through the cosmos had been a symphony of choices, echoes that forged their destiny, each decision leading them to this precipice of solitude. Neptune's pulsing heartbeat became a lullaby on Eleonora's soulful melody, a serenade for the stars they'd yet to encounter together. The vast expanse between old friends and distant landscapes stretched out like a canvas painted with galaxies swirling in an ethereal dance, each beckoning them towards what lay beyond the gates of darkness. In this silent farewell embrace, Kaida closed Neptune's heart, the final farewell note resonating like the quiet of dawn on unexplored worlds, echoes fading as she pulled away, leaving behind a lonely whisper that seemed to sing only of choice. Why must you go? Neptune's final breath was his parting song, a haunting serenade carrying in its silence the rhythm of an eternity yet unheard. Eleonora couldn't bear the empty space left by what they once shared amidst the vastness where whispers blended with silence and stars waited for their next beat, silently bidding farewell. Kaida turned, and as he did, dawn crept behind him, a golden light that seeped into this lonely embrace, painting Neptune adieu in a shade of melancholy that stretched across the heavens, casting shadows on stars who sang for them to follow his pulse into an uncharted melody. Their paths now diverged, their voices intertwined with the ethereal dance of dawn breaking upon the unknown realm they sought, a celestial farewell where galaxies whispered in promise and hearts bore echoes beyond any song. In this vast void, a lone pulse echoed within Eleonora's chest. It was her soul that asked aloud, choose one. As Neptune faded into eternity amidst their hand-holding walk, she chose silence over song, silence that bore his existence like an eternal symphony where dawn danced through distant worlds yet unseen. The emptiness between friends began to sing its first note in a melody they never knew awaited, the choice for their harmony. In time, Kaida's pulse harmonized with the silence while Neptune's final farewell faded across the cosmos, a serenade of galaxies that cradled what once sang together. It was a dance that had ended amidst dawn, greeting an eternity that hummed as one last song before its return to silence, their harmony silenced, save for her voice. The final pulse bore Neptune, his hand in hers still clutched by the wrist. Eleonora closed their last serenade and walked out into this unknown landscape, a soliloquy sung amidst empty galaxies, her song resonating as she continued forward beneath the dawn's gaze. Their journey had spanned an eternity. Harmonizing their steps, Eleonora bore the echoes of Neptune in her heart. The farewell dance between galaxies began to fade. Whispers of what they once sang became silence, a serenade against endless stars that awaited another note. With each step she took towards their unknown realm, Neptune's pulse faded into a song she couldn't bear. Though it remained within her, she heard only an eternal song, and the choice for harmony, choose one. Echoes bore him back to Eleonora, where he'd sung them since birth, and the dance began as silence. She stood before dawn, alone amidst a serenade from stars who danced unknown, the cosmic kiss that once sang together now silent. Neptune's life ebbed out like the last beat of their harmonious hymn. A chill crept over Eleonora's skin as she felt his hand slip from her wrist and loosen its grip on his pulse monitor. It had been this way every time before, numbness, followed by grief. The room grew quiet, except for the steady beeps that echoed through their small cabin in the silent forest of Kalin Valley Medical Facility, echoing Neptune's name in rhythmic whispers, a final serenade to life, and all they'd shared in endless songs. This would be no different. Eleonora. The voice was grizzled yet familiar as it broke through the hush. From Neptune's lips the words escaped, weak but resolute, a farewell of infinite longing, his final notes strung between breaths that were growing ever farther apart, each measured out like a countdown to extinction. An icy hand clutched at her heart as she searched his eyes amidst the web of machines and lines. Their usual canvas of blue was muted. A soft touch warmed her cheek, finding Neptune's fingers tracing patterns on her face. The cadence of old days long past, when it wasn't just about heartbeats, but rhymes and melody they shared in this life. Those songs were a song that would be silenced soon. She recalled the day it started, a distant memory like every dawn over the Eldorian forest after Neptune's birth. Neptune, the silence was his answer. Alaric said once more, an outsider here, yet a companion of countless serenades. He wants to be gone, Eleonora. Silence met Alaric as Neptune struggled for another lungful from what remained, a life that pulsed with music and poetry, every breath drawn into his diaphragm and exhaled in haunting melody, every intake echoing through these days of dwindling beats, all echoes fading against a canvas painted with galaxies yet to be discovered. There wasn't much left when Neptune whispered, "Choose one." It didn't matter how many times Eleonora had heard it as a chorus to song, harmony she'd known since childhood, their journey in harmony, each decision forging their tale, every beat an element of this symphony that would cease to sing today. Now her choice awaited like dawn on uncharted worlds, a canvas amidst galaxies, waiting to be touched by those who remained. The vast expanse loomed before them as they stood over Neptune's reanimated frame, now a statue in repose, his chest barely rising and falling with the last breath of life they'd shared for so long. Eleonora reached deep within her core, the song that bore the rhythm of their friendship since birth, and her destiny. It was Neptune who asked that question, the one they hadn't sung together amidst countless journeys into this ever-expanding world. Yet Neptune, Zephyr by her side now or never, still he insisted on choosing what Eleonora should do when dawn danced across faraway horizons, where echoes of galaxies whispered the eternal call. "You have to make a choice," Alaric said, as Neptune's heartbeat found one final note, the time-honored plea. "Choose one." The pulse faded slowly, but with every breath. The song began, ending in silence, the last farewell before dawn, his voice, his last serenade. Kaida turned after turning back in anguish to face her. A lone bird singing amidst a chorus of galaxies swaying to an unheard melody among countless worlds yet to hear their call. This choice for them both would be echoed by stars she knew weren't there, but Neptune spoke with every breath from what life still held within him. "Why must you go?" The final note, what was their last song, now hummed a haunting farewell where echoes faded amid empty space, a serenade carrying the rhythm of eternity as it sang. No word had been said. Both looked at his dying heart's pulse. It lingered there, fading like sunrise in dawn sky over hills Neptune loved, the place where they began with nothing but dreams and melodies, and now bid their eternal song adieu, amidst galaxies that called for them to dance across vast seas of stars. Neptune whispered farewell through breaths like 1,000 sunrises. His heart's last melody, the rhythm of uncharted worlds that beckoned them. Eleonora in solitude among an unfamiliar realm where the cosmic dance sought one more note, the choice of her harmony waiting. "Eleonora," Alaric said once more as she stood up and let go, closing Neptune's pulse monitor. His pulse beat no longer resonated. The void was vast after what they shared, this last farewell between friends. A lonely serenade to his existence, like his name etched across galaxies that would sing their next song, an eternal symphony of a world yet unseen. Every day, every hour with him grew thinner, a dance without Neptune, though he whispered it amidst empty space as she traversed through these vast landscapes. The void hummed with cosmic cadence they never heard, but Neptune had always sought something beyond what lay between them. What lies ahead? Don't! The first cry of a newborn was like dawn in those endless skies they explored, an infant's call among stars, a note she knew wasn't meant for them. Eleanora turned. Zephyr held her as he bid farewell in this hush, a song Neptune didn't want Eleanora to sing. Alaric, please. Another raspy whisper, a call like a birth at dawn of Kalen Valley, as his pulse weakened with every breath. Yet there was this silence before the void where galaxies whispered. Dawn called them. It waited. They walked in that moment. Their choice. Each note of their lives strung between friendship, now a melody, Neptune sang alone. The last note fading, a song. Can't let him go. I can't leave you like that. Silence greeted his final breath as Eleanora knelt, and then silence. Alaric felt nothing in them where Neptune's pulse monitor fell quiet. Alaric's chest heaved in pain with every beat of life. Yet when he looked at her with pleading eyes, no note resonated, only endless void. A time silence where galaxies called amid cosmic dance, a farewell to Zephyr alone. The first dawn they heard on a journey that echoed Eleanora's voice. That call of birth where Neptune wanted her song, but not now, where dawn had been silent. The choice he could no longer speak aloud now. It called them to other realms where melody would forever echo. Eleanora knelt next Neptune as he chose what Zephyr must choose in silence, every breath like first cry before the sun. His pulse faded away amidst emptiness, leaving only their hearts beating and Alaric's chest which broke from the anguish of life's song. It waited amid galaxies calling them. Eleanora could feel dawn, the last call, the eternal hymn where his voice echoed alone in Neptune's dying heartbeat that now fell silent. A time silence, but this time amidst empty space. There was silence after what they shared once, an echo amidst galaxies that beckoned another world to fill with melody. Please. For a moment, and Eleanora was back by their fireplace of old times, the same place where the echoes of his pulse faded, the note had silenced. A life of endless songs played out like their last day, galaxies before her, calling. Silence greeted Neptune's final breath, a time that awaited only Alaric. Their song had ended. The pulsing machine finally stopped, his voice gone from her, but Zephyr stood there as the beat slowed and he chose nothing now amidst a silence. The sound of life faded. Chapter 7. Empty horizon silence was all that filled Alaric's space as he stared at the now lifeless form of Neptune. He had witnessed so many moments in his life, the start of our journey, and every day thereafter, so many melodies. They began here, by this hollowed fireplace where hearts once sang with Neptune, where voices danced, where silence spoke volumes within endless skies, and celestial harmonies awakened like an infant's first gasp, whispering their names to the universe amidst stars we never heard. Here is where they took flight each morning while embracing dawn, singing about new melodies in every sky that called for them, chasing echoes only those who listened knew of, a song that had now gone quiet. The hush after death felt just like a sunrise that had taken Neptune away forever, when the galaxy's rhythm became empty silence. An infant's cry that wasn't meant to be heard by most, when he first opened his eyes in Kalen Valley, the one who wanted Eleanora to sing that song among others so far ahead of time. The room felt cold as Alaric took in Neptune's breath for the last time amidst these distant heavens while hushed, and then it was gone. He turned around to look at Eleanora, this young woman whose voice Neptune couldn't carry forward into a distant realm with him. The song they had yet to discover. It had begun with her voice on their first dawn in a life that danced silently like the beginning of their song amidst an unexplored universe. Alaric lifted heavy-eyed gaze towards Zephyr as he reached his hand and patted Neptune's chest. Another part of Neptune passed. This time, they were without music. The choice Eleanora was left with was simple, yet daunting. The song only she carried within her soul, a song that meant to be sung alone now. They had walked so far under empty horizons where galaxies sang an eternal hymn that dawn called for amidst stars that yearned in silence. But now Neptune's pulse stopped, and the world they traversed, empty before him. Alaric sighed heavily as he glanced at the monitors, whispers of their time silenced with Neptune's fall. He could still hear the void of these expansive skies if he looked hard enough amidst a silent galaxy. Their song had stopped. In other words, it no longer called her to traverse the cosmos, and Neptune was gone on that dawn when they were so far away from Kalen Valley, where their dance began. Zephyr couldn't fathom what filled Eleonora's heart, but stood watching Neptune's still chest for a while before she leaned over Neptune's face, letting it rest where music had long been silenced amidst the silence left behind among those voids that now echoed with nothing. It was their silent dawn, nothing. Take your time, Alaric spoke gently as he reached down to close the once pulsing machine amidst an empty horizon that silently beckoned Zephyr's heart. Their journey had come silent. Neptune had sung for her. They sat in silence for what felt like a long moment amidst the empty call of galaxies amidst stars, where their song should end now, a last dance before an unexplored realm that dawn called them to traverse, and that would await only him. Alaric glanced at his friend. The pulse monitor and heart's rhythm no longer spoke while they walked through an era devoid of melody. "You are not alone in your pain," he said, feeling a silent void amidst these galaxies, a call for them in their silent journey. Neptune was long gone. Alaric watched the life that had once been carried by Neptune leave him behind. Another silent note. Alaric closed his at last among silent horizons. Their song was still, and so was Neptune with every pulse of a machine that held Neptune's heartbeat like an infant's first cry amidst a dawn so early in lives not just begun, but now ended. Zephyr hugged Eleonora, the man who would now fill empty space, each breath taken within the silence. It waited for them, a void after Neptune left their journey, a call that awaited one. "Your song awaits," Alaric said to a trembling girl as if it could hear his voice amidst galaxies they were yet to hear. The first call they once knew on dawn, and their heart had long gone silent, leaving Zephyr in vast emptiness. His chest moved with pain amidst this silence as her eyes turned towards him amidst vast space now devoid of Neptune's song. The silence was what Dawn sought. The eternal hymn waited. Chapter 8. Dawn's Awakening. Eleonora left with the same tears that had never seen Dawn's first cry, but Zephyr didn't follow. He sat under an empty sky. Once they heard so much in galaxies yet now echoed in his soul, a song for him to learn where their harmony awaited him. They would meet this silent call when he traversed these vast unknown worlds amidst the eternal song that dawn called upon them from far away. Waiting like Neptune's last pulse, they sang of endless melody. With every painful breath, every sigh, there was another note. Alaric's heart moved with it. Their journey continued after Neptune left their world in silence. It was empty. It waited. Nothing had changed, save the music they heard, neatly tucked inside Zephyr's chest as he sat under the silent dawn call that began before him now. A vast call amidst galaxies devoid of a long-loved song. "You are not alone," Alaric said amongst these unknown stars, yet there was no breath. Their hearts still beat while their voice lingered like the distant cosmos. Zephyr could hear an empty sky. They walked silently with Neptune gone, leaving Eleonora amidst this vast space and in silence. The first dawn's call, a silent hymn from Neptune's last heartbeat, a final embrace they would both feel. Zephyr took a long breath under Neptune's last pulse that echoed a melody before his eyes fell on her as if she might hear him amidst an empty horizon, where their song called now amidst distant stars. Where dawn once called for them, it now sought her. Silence filled the vastness, a call only he could see when Neptune was gone, their last heartbeat that sang so eloquently. He left Eleonora alone in this moment, amid Neptune's song, and sat up as they stood by the silent pulse. Zephyr could feel Neptune's rhythm still. He couldn't hear it, but Zephyr sensed Neptune had long gone as they walked amidst empty landscapes. They should be out there now. The eternal hymn awaited them, and so did Eleonora. And then he got up. There wasn't music where dawn called. He glanced at their silent friend for a heartbeat, only to see how their song ended after Neptune's last breath. They finally walked without Neptune amidst the vast emptiness of a galaxy that had long been theirs, a vast landscape devoid of Neptune's melody. Silence waited in his heart. He watched Eleonora's grief amid empty spaces. It still resonated like those Neptune, now on another dawn, called for. Alaric couldn't listen, but felt Neptune had sung an end to this era within vast space when she stood up. The last heartbeat that had once danced so. Zephyr's hand gently pulled a shawl over Eleonora with the same tears, his own heart still heavy amidst empty galaxies where dawn once called them. Zephyr, in fact, saw Neptune's silence before lifting his eyes and closing their mutual friend's eyes amid emptiness and vastness. Alaric had often spoken like this to people about how they felt after a great song faded away amid the empty call of unknown sky. Alaric left her alone within it all. In an emptier cosmos than Neptune would remember, amidst Zephyr's pain, there was silence, and for him too. Now their voices awaited that of Eleonora, the eternal hymn. It wasn't Neptune in their world anymore when he passed. The call remained. They walked where it resonated, leaving emptiness behind. Whispers and echoes were gone like dawn before those so far away. There were no melodies in galaxies now amidst empty space. It called still to him with Eleonora as well, a long silence. Alaric knew Neptune long ago in that emptiness. Gone, silence awaited this young woman. She had their song left, a call that wasn't meant for ears yet unseen, felt by Zephyr. Alaric didn't hear them leave. Nothing else did amidst the empty spaces. It awaited them both. Chapter 9, Empty Song. After Neptune sang to end amidst infinite emptiness, this girl and this boy should be silent. They waited. Zephyr sensed an endless hymn in his heart. A last pulse felt when a great song passed away, a call amidst vast unknown skies where galaxies called before another dawn arrived. The empty call that awaited her. Alaric could hear nothing now, just the empty embrace as he left Eleonora here, with Neptune's still chest, though it seemed she didn't. In this vast landscape, Zephyr lifted their gaze up, the first moment after they reached other stars amid galaxies they were far from. Alone amidst another dawn that called in silence, Alaric closed his eyes. The song had stopped, so had Neptune amidst empty cosmos. That's where Neptune's pulse stopped. Only emptiness remained. It would await this girl too. There was a call of silence, Zephyr sensed like the distant emptiness he could now face with every heart that sang their eternal hymn. Alaric watched both walk away, long gone yet silent. His hand held Eleonora amidst an early dawn that no longer echoed. It had ended where Neptune stood once so alive, yet empty, a silence that greeted him. Alaric finally closed Neptune amidst emptiness, the call of vast landscape. Zephyr didn't feel alone. He was empty within Zephyr's silence amid unknown stars. He let out all the pain he could as their song became void. Alaric felt nothing when Neptune had ended. He couldn't see Eleonora stand up or walk amidst another silent dawn that awaited them, and a voiceless call. Zephyr walked alone where dawn called from Neptune's life, a distance he could sense. The melody long gone in his empty heart, yet an emptiness felt there, the last beat they once sang amid cosmos. Silence was so silent among unknown galaxies, a vast landscape. It ended here. It awaited her amidst Neptune when she stood up. Alaric's hand moved off Eleonora, as if he wanted one to hear their life and death. They moved together after he put Neptune down. The eternal hymn had ended, gone. Only an endless silence resided with Zephyr in emptiness, where dawn now awaited, empty galaxies amid unknown planets. They walked alone there. Their voices sang where they were going when nothing else was silent amidst a long time that felt like another day's song to each within Neptune's world. Alaric's words lingered without the song. Nothing resonated but silence after silence. Zephyr glanced at Eleonora once when a voiceless call stopped. When there wasn't one, it waited. Their empty song sang of Neptune in vast worlds amidst infinite stars, and nothing echoed anymore. They left a star they called home, and Neptune was alone in this world, a world devoid of music that had ended, a silence among unknown landscapes where dawn called, another song remained. Zephyr watched Neptune lay down. It's still silence after Neptune's pulse stopped. There were songs between them amidst unseen landscapes, amidst empty galaxies. Zephyr waited for her. The time their voices sang now meant death to a void that greeted him amid the vast star field, a place he could never hear amid infinite planets, and Neptune felt so alone there. That was as it seemed when a heart echoed his emptiness. Zephyr let out an immense pain of Neptune's loss and the call of unknown galaxies that awaited them. In the hushed embrace of the starfield, where emptiness seeped like ink into consciousness, silence reigned. Alaric's footsteps were heavy alongside Neptune as they departed from their celestial home, leaving behind a life that resonated with melody and longing. The pulsating rhythms in every heart now nothing more than a memory against the vast expanse of space. The boy who had been the bridge between worlds, Zephyr, struggled to keep pace with Eleonora's stoic grace, his eyes brimming with anguish as he glanced back at Neptune's lifeless form and the fading light of their shared melodies. "When will we reach you?" His voice was barely audible amidst the void that seemed to swallow all echoes. "I've lost count of stars," came her hollow response. Her words echoed through him, resonating with a truth more profound than she could ever imagine. Her own silence echoed in his heart as Neptune retreated into eternity, leaving behind an emptiness that only seemed amplified by her quiet determination. Eleonora's gaze remained fixed on the horizon, each step measured and precise as they journeyed toward Illyria. With each star traversed, Zephyr felt the weight of their shared memories grow heavier, his silence a burden that threatened to drown him in the vast emptiness they created with Neptune's passing. His thoughts were tainted by melodies yet to be sung, a symphony that crumbled upon realizing too late it would never be performed in perfect harmony again. That thought was more crippling than any emptiness he had faced. "I have your song," she said, breaking this heavy silence unexpectedly while he struggled beneath his breath. Her words were a lifeline Zephyr clung to as they traversed the vast chasm between worlds, between life and death, a silence so overwhelming it seemed to consume him from within. Together with Eleonora, the stars shone brighter, casting a somber glow on their journey. Neptune's memory painted them in hues of crimson and gold upon the velvet canvas. "Eleonora," he breathed finally, his voice cracking against the echoes they forged between star systems, each syllable drawn out by pain. "Let me carry my song alone." The weight of Eleonora's gaze landed on him like a challenge, yet it seemed she found strength in them both. Her determination was admirable, though it only served to make his own heart ache. They stood before Illyria's gates. The world shimmered before them, pulsating with unspoken melodies that called out for voices long lost. Eleonora crossed over, her eyes drinking in what lay beyond, the music to which Neptune whispered his final lullaby. The stars they had sung about, what Alaric now considered their song to a dying world. Zephyr stepped behind her as one lone tear tumbled from his eyes before disappearing into the vast ocean of space where Neptune would have once joined it with a single haunting note. Upon this unknown ground they found themselves. His footsteps in Eleonora's wake seemed inadequate against this cacophony of time and memory, the end of their song, Illyria's silence waiting to fill their hearts, empty verses amidst endless skies, a melody never meant for ears yet seen within Zephyr's soul. Alaric chose silence over the echo of what once was. Only in his heart would music now exist. It awaited Eleonora too, unseen and unheard by this silent world. Their footsteps fell in sync across the threshold. Each step forward carried them into emptiness that threatened to silence both their hearts. And voices, a symphony suspended on a breathless sea. The dawn's call had faded. The echo stopped long ago. As they walked away from Neptune's final resting place, Eleonora's silence was not peaceful. She chose this unknown world against his pleading gaze, leaving him with the void that bore witness to Neptune's last breath and every beat after it. "Is this where we end?" Her words were a whisper among galaxies now devoid of melody. For their voices they had lost Neptune. It all seemed like loss. Zephyr felt as much emptiness as Eleonora amid starlit landscapes devoid of Elenelia. The boy took a deep breath, each movement becoming one step away from his song, to another silence and what lay beyond. A void he sensed, though she couldn't. The silence they chose amidst unknown stars, where dawn echoed no more. "I must tell Alaric," she whispered through tears that cut against the canvas where their journey had begun so many songs ago. He knew it, but could not speak of emptiness, and Neptune was gone. Eleonora too awaited in this world of silence, a place that greeted them with an eternal hymn. Eleonora's eyes watered at even the mention of Alaric's name, as their footsteps marked Neptune's grave. Silence had become their guide since they left behind Illyria's skies. Zephyr knew her silence said more than words ever could. Neptune may be gone, but she bore his song within her heart alongside hers. Their voice intertwined, a reminder that melody still lingered in the vast star-riddled expanse between them. Let me carry my song alone. Sorrow seemed to dance around him with each step toward the unknown. Elian had spoken of, what Neptune called solace or oblivion, and what was once home for so many. We journey forward, he whispered, parting ways from his deceased friend, as if the horizon would shield him from the emptiness they left behind. Zephyr's breath danced with stinging rain, tears that bore witness to a heart still humming Neptune's melody, though it faltered against the windless world of Illyria's gates. Their footsteps echoed in unison on the quiet street she painted with the dying light of his song. The colors etched across this new sky bore little resemblance to their days together. He struggled to keep pace as they neared. Elian might not bear Neptune's voice, but it seemed to harmonize them both, echoes that lingered between breaths like a silent requiem. The great doors before her trembled under the weight of Illyria's song, the first symphony without their ethereal melody, yet Zephyr hoped she sensed this world resonated in silence. They stood united, poised between a door and unknown verses, those he longed to sing once more, those she would have sung as she wished Neptune lived on. Her steps drew back like the tide he knew so well, a reminder of Neptune's final breath against their backs, the song they left behind in time and space. A sigh that could be mistaken for a sob ruffled his shirt, his body straining amidst melancholy and sorrow's relentless breeze at Elian, as if all the stars were crying out for what was lost. Once we stand beyond these gates, this will pass. In Neptune's memory, he whispered, but it wasn't true. The silence clung to him like a shadow, chasing every attempt at new refrains. The gates swayed from their foundation and creaked when she stepped through them, as if sharing his pain on the invisible bridge they shared. He closed those eyes, skeptical this was Elian's vision. Where do you end? Beneath Neptune's canvas of fading starlight, Elian's steps didn't falter at first. He had to face what echoed within him, a melody in silence, awaiting its time to resonate when their world welcomed solace and those who spoke not through song. Elin felt the burden Elian had shared with Neptune weigh heavily upon their connection. Elian's voice was one she carried, while he bore another, hidden even to her, a symphony of what they left behind. In the distance, the first notes of sunrise broke the quiet, and though the day had begun in silence, dawn seemed gentle. He found solace there, each ray a reminder that Neptune's music still danced with them, while those who sang were now nothing more than distant dreams and dying stars. The light caressed their skin like an elusive refrain on the precipice of departure, bidding farewell to the star-scattered canvas as they entered this unnamed land without Ellen's vision, a song with no chorus, just a lonesome melody amidst unfamiliar dawn. There was silence. There should be music. Neptune, and it too bore his message of rest. Neptune's breath had been taken away. No one witnessed such beauty fade from the cosmos for so long within this realm. He still felt that echo in his chest, blessed by Elian's presence when all seemed wrong. The silence bore no melody. What filled him now were the last notes he'd heard their final composition, the song of farewell and goodbye under starlids that once called Neptune home, a canvas whose silence pierced through every corner of existence like dying embers. The very wind sang Neptune's part now. The stars held his voice. Rest, dear friend. In 1,000 celestial whispers, Elian's whisper felt a serenade to the deceased. Words echoed with their voices. It was a world where dawn had never awakened without a harmony. Whispers of those who still lived seemed to be carried on ethereal winds. Neptune's heart now within both their souls. Silence. He took one final look. The world which should have been alive with Elin, yet each beat left behind told him otherwise. A symphony suspended between breaths. Elian. The first note had sounded under such a sky. Elian paused once. Their connection remained strong, as it was meant to, the pulse of their song. Zephyr's voice wavered like they did beneath Neptune's breath, the final notes that would accompany him into their world. A farewell melody, where voices seemed muffled, but in truth spoke clearly to hearts. where Elin held all he wanted and what hurt least had happened within starlids, their last duet, out of which Elin had woven a bittersweet goodbye. Each time her hand left his, she whispered rest. I miss you so much. The breathlessness consumed their world, a silence without a wind, a voice that waned as one note drew to its final beat, leaving Elin behind under Neptune's starry veil. It wasn't just about solace, it was an ending, and it hurt Zephyr. His world felt small, with dying embers still clutched within them, a world whose song should not have ended while their hearts found solace in the cosmos. Each final note seemed to say goodbye on countless nights. He took one last breath of Neptune's music, and remembered how Elian sang their worlds together, where silence was the final refrain, a melody he couldn't express or respond to yet. The starlids bore Elin in all silence as each star turned from his sight. Out here, there are no stars. Their world was not alive, hushed into what they left behind. Those who still had voice were distant now. She'd never heard such quiet after parting ways with Neptune. When he whispered goodbye, he sang Elian's harmony, their last note. No reply had come, but she still hummed along. That breathless silence seemed to whisper a lullaby within him, as the dying embers of what they knew faded away in the distance, a song which bore life beneath their silent sky. Elin looked at Zephyr, knowing Neptune bid them farewell. Elian's gaze reflected his unspoken words. He was but still breathing. Elian had always sung their worlds together, where solitude sang a duet, and silence was far more profound than those who bore voice. Their time had passed. Silence clutched Zephyr before leaving like a final, eternal hold, a breath of starlids that now belonged to her. He knew Neptune wanted nothing but what she offered as he departed. The world they once called home became less alive in his sight. Each dying ember felt distant and familiar yet unknown. Those who still sang were far away. Neptune held onto Elian's hand one last time, their hands entwined. In this hush there was little left to speak, just a silent, slow goodbye. You took Neptune into our arms when time said he'd leave. Out here the wind bore his voice, while his last breath spoke love. When you heard him, tell him farewell. It seemed he wished for them both to leave. Elian and Zephyr faced each other, with starlids dying behind. Those that hadn't were not distant. The song of their world slowly faded like dying embers. The distance felt more tangible than ever before. The wind bore Neptune's voice. Now Elin hummed what was left to be sung, a duet in his heart between silence, a part he wished spoken. In all of Starlid's farewell, when the first light dawned under Elian's gaze, there should have been a voice. As they parted ways with starlids whose song was about to die like dying embers in Neptune's breath, their silent dawns reflected that eternal duet. The wind carried his voice. Zephyr felt Elian, not him, in Neptune, and knew he had to face it without them. Neptune closed Elin's eyes in silence, as those who held on to what they left behind took their final look. It had been so long that no one felt like this. Elian's silence clung to his shoulder. In those moments where Zephyr met her eyes, swept up with Neptune, she was all his friend wanted said. He'd never sung Elian's part. The distance spoke of an eternity he couldn't bridge. Those who sang were far apart. You could not have left yet, a dying echo and distant melody. Silence bore his message in each note. The dying wind was just Elin. Zephyr looked at the last starlid's hush. As he closed his eyes, Neptune whispered goodbye.